Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show. My name is Graham and welcome to my show. And my gosh, do we have some juicy YouTube drama today. Geez, where do we begin? About 4 months ago, this YouTube channel producer Michael toured one of the most expensive houses in the world at $500 million. Now, the house itself is what you would expect for $500 million. I mean, it's got a bajillion bedrooms, a quadrillion bathrooms, it's got a nightclub, it's on the top of a hill in Bel Air overlooking all of the peasants around it. And what's even more interesting, I gotta say, than the house is the owner and builder, Niall Niami. Now, he's definitely someone who's very passionate about his project, but even more interesting is that recently, apparently he has not been able to make his payments on the house, and the bank wants to take it back because he owes $165 million. Well, now it appears that he's doing a little bit of damage control, and today, producer Michael just posted this video titled, "The Truth About the One Foreclosure Niall Niami Reveals All." So with that said, you guys, as someone who's followed this project very closely, we should listen in and get his side of the story about what's going on and why this house is going into foreclosure as soon as you destroy the like button for the YouTube algorithm.
Today, we're here with Niall, and he's going to explain to us some of the things that have been going on with the biggest house in the urban world.
I don't know if you necessarily want to call it the biggest house in the urban world. It kind of goes along the saying that, like, you never want to have the nicest house on the block. What does it say about this? You're buying, like, the nicest house in the world. So it might be better to play that down a little bit and just say, hey, you're buying a great location, you're buying a fantastic house, and at this price, it's a bargain. It might not actually be a bargain, but you say it's a bargain.
I don't want to sound like harsh or abrupt or anything, but there's been some rumors out there that the house has gone into foreclosure. The price is now $350 million instead of $500 million.
Why is this guy just cracking his knuckles? It's like he's getting ready to get in a fight or something like that. Like he knows it's about to go down between him and the bank.
You gotta understand the whole story of, it's not just a house and it's not just a sale. And this is what some of the problems that I got into.
It is just a house, and it is just a sale. I mean, here's the problem that I've seen. A lot of the sellers get very emotionally attached to the property, and there's nothing wrong with that. And usually, you want the developers who are really tied into it because you know they do all of the details that other people just don't care about. But when it comes to sell it, they're so tied into it that they feel like this is an extension of them, and therefore, if they get a lowball offer, they think it's insulting. They're like, how dare you offer me $300 million for my $500 million house? What do you take me for? And then he cracks his knuckles. That's the problem with this that I see so far.
I never had any investors on this project. I always went from one bank to the next bank to the next bank trying to get this thing made. And I also, from every single house that I built, all the money from that previous house went to the one.
That's a lot, but keep in mind too, that's a big investment to take everything you've made throughout 12 years, and I don't doubt that because the one looks incredibly expensive to make, and then when it doesn't sell, just being devastated. And part of the problem is just like, how many people in the world really want a $500 million house? It's such a niche property that, I don't know if it was the best from an ROI standpoint.
The weird thing was, previous to COVID, all of my houses, like a year or 2 years before COVID, every one of my houses would sell. Every one of my houses would sell before we had the power on. Every one of my houses would sell.
Yes, because he wasn't building $500 million places. Now, I gotta say, I've seen some of Niall's other properties, and I think his strong point, and this is just my opinion here, his strong point was developing properties between like the, I don't know, 10 million and 60, 70 million dollar range. That's the price point where, like, if you're a billionaire, it's not so much to drop it on like a nice prime parcel of land with a great house for like 50 million bucks. But times that by 10, now you're getting into a league of just like, it just doesn't make sense. That's just crazy money. It's just, that's not the market to sell to. You could appeal to billionaires, just not to somebody who's worth like 10 billion. Maybe that's it.
But wait, Graham, you forgot to mention the sponsor. Simply Safe.
For those of you not aware, SimpliSafe is an incredibly reliable, customizable home security system that makes sure your home is protected around the clock. It's shipped right to your door, it's easy and intuitive to set up yourself in under an hour, and then from there, your home is professionally monitored, all for the low cost of just 50 cents a day with no contracts. And best of all, they just came out with the wireless outdoor security system, which features an ultra-wide 140-degree field of view so you can keep watch over your entire yard. It has a 1080p HD resolution with 8x zoom and color night vision, so you could zoom in and clearly see things like faces and license plates to capture critical information. Then, if their interactive monitoring service is alerted to anything, they will take the appropriate action and make sure the police get called. Plus, their customer service is incredibly helpful and they're always there for whatever you need. I really enjoy the peace of mind it gives me to be able to check in on everything around my house in perfect detail, even when I'm out of town. Plus, the devices are all sleek and simple, so you barely even notice them. So if you're interested in getting one for yourself, take 20% off your SimpliSafe security system and get your first month free when you sign up for their interactive monitoring service. Just use the link down below in the description or visit simplisafe.com/GrahamStephanShow to learn more and get one for yourself. And with that said, let's get back to the video.
You said it took about 10 years to complete the project.
Yeah.
Had you predicted that it would be much quicker than that, or was that already like preset?
I didn't know, honestly, because like one of the reasons that it took so long is I had to stop. I had to stop because I had to go from bank to another bank to another bank, and we stopped in between because...
How do you not know? Just like a rough ballpark how much it's gonna cost. That just seems like a big oversight to me. I think that should have been planned out. Now, a lot of this over a period of a decade, prices change, styles change. I mean, by the time you go into it, 10 years later, the whole fashion and style of the house is something completely different. So I think a project like this needs to be completed in like 3 to 5 years. You gotta be on budget. You're gonna go over budget a little bit, but something like that shouldn't require you to go from bank to bank to bank to bank.
One of the things that came to me through other people or through a higher power was a real serious way to help change the world. And when I gave them my mission statement, you have one of the only spaces in the world that can do pay-per-view platform events. And
yeah, see, here's where I kind of lost it. He said that his house is going to change the world because of how massive it is that you could do pay-per-view events there. And he calculated like, yeah, if we do these boxing matches and we get like Mike Tyson on here and we get all these famous people together and we could raise awareness for things, this house could be worth $1 billion. But the problem is that like, if you want land, you go to Calabasas. You go to any other area, pay-per-view events, you get a big studio somewhere, a big warehouse space. You don't need this house necessarily in the middle of a residential area to make pay-per-view events from that are gonna change the world. You could change the world from a home office just making YouTube videos. That's really all you need.
so one of the reasons I got in this problem is because I fought forever. I didn't want to sell the house because I knew, and I still know today, that there is a higher purpose for that house.
I don't know if that's a good idea to think there's a higher power to the house. I mean, listen, it's a cool house. The higher power that I see is you could throw like some massive ragers there. I don't know if a house itself has any capacity to change the world beyond just what a person could do on their own.
I must have been through 7 or 8 different groups that were going to resolve everything for me. When I say resolve everything, they were going to give me enough money to buy out the partners happily, where they would be extremely excited about the deal. They were going to pay off the banks, they were going to pay off everybody, and then that house was going to be used for pay-per-view platform events.
I should have taken it though. Listen, if someone hands you a golden ticket, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Don't say, nah, I'm not gonna need that, I'm just gonna sell it. He's gonna sell it anyway, so he may as well just have all of his problems taken care of and take the deal.
Where are we today? I mean, that is what everybody really wants to know.
I'll tell you where
are we today.
This is going to go one of 2 ways. Either I was a fool, and I spent 11 years of my life to build this, originally only thinking about myself, and then thinking about how this house can be the beacon of hope for the world to change.
How is it gonna be the beacon of hope? The beacon of hope. No. It's gonna be a beacon of parties. Trust me, whoever buys this house, most likely they're gonna be somewhat young. And by young, I mean like under the age of 45, under the age of 40, billions of dollars. And they're probably gonna love to throw a lot of parties. I mean, you don't buy a house at the nightclub if you like to sit alone on a Friday night and read a nice book.
It's going to go one of 2 ways. Right now, as we stand here today, the house has been put in with a receiver from Hankey Capital because Hankey hasn't been paid his mortgage payments, and he's going to sell the house, and hopefully we sell the house for top dollar. And everybody makes their money and their profit. That is not my goal, and it still is not my goal.
That's the problem. It's like no bank wants to lend you money when your goal is not to sell the house for top dollar.
I have someone who has become a very, very good friend of mine, and I trust this guy with my life. And the strange thing is, I've never met him before, other than on FaceTime calls. And he is a terrific person. But one of the issues is he's promised me over and over and over and over and over and over and over that he is wiring the money, and that's why I've gotten into this rut.
What? It sounds like he's getting catfished. Are you serious? These are the sort of events that you hear like your grandparents fall for, where they send Bitcoin to like some long-lost lover who keeps promising them that like, oh, if only I had 3 Bitcoin, I could go and travel to you. Listen, I have dealt with so many buyers in Los Angeles, so many, who are fake. And what I mean fake, I mean, they show up and they drive like a nice car, they're dressed well, and then they say, oh yeah, I'm gonna wire the money, I'm good for it. The money never comes. It's excuse after like, oh, my banks froze my funds for some reason, it's a mistake, it'll be another few days. The wire got sent to this other bank, oh, I'm getting funds, it's gonna be in Indiana. And just non-stop, he's fallen for the oldest trick in the book.
So would it be fair to say anybody watching this right now might say you're being foolish by believing this and not moving on to another remedy?
This guy really needs somebody to like look over his shoulder and just tell him, hey bud, like, I hate to break it to you, but this guy who says he's gonna wire you the money hasn't done it yet. You haven't met him in person. It's probably not gonna happen. Let's do something else. Someone needs to just step in. The problem with this guy has so much money that no one is telling him no. This guy just needs someone to sit him down and say, no, you're not gonna do that. It's a bad idea. He doesn't have anybody telling him no. That's the issue.
I don't think at this stage in life there is another remedy other than if somebody watching your show comes in and says, hey, we're gonna give you $200 million and help solve this, and we're gonna come in as your partner. I don't know any other remedy. I can tell you, you know, it was a big risk going on a YouTube channel, but it worked out unbelievably. And I have received DMs from rabbis. I have received DMs from pastors of churches that want to meet with me.
Yeah, but they're not the ones who are paying the bills. I mean, sure, he's getting DMs, and producer Michael's video did exceptionally well. I mean, it brought so much free publicity to this guy. But what he's not putting together is that DMs from rabbis and like DMs from people around the world saying, oh, I want to get involved, I want to put my hands in this. That doesn't give him $200 million. That doesn't get him any closer to selling this house. He's got to sell the house.
If it sells, I hope I get my money back because it was 11 years of my life and all of my other houses. But I hope that there is a resolve, a positive resolve, that is going to include buying out the partners, paying the banks, and doing what I think was meant for this house in the first place, which is having it be the beacon of hope and having it really help the world. And that has been my mission statement since the last interview I had with you. And
there he goes again with this beacon of hope. Listen, the only beacon of hope that I see is that he breaks even on this, and he doesn't lose any money, and he gets to walk away from it with the experience of having built one of the greatest estates in Los Angeles, and he's not out any money, and he gets to learn a valuable lesson not to do that again, and not to trust some guy on FaceTime. And then he sticks with what he's good at. You know, really the heart and soul is those $20 to $50 million properties in Los Angeles that he could just boom, 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 get those done, pay the banks, pay the investors, and everyone wins.
Looking at the worst case scenario, and let's say the house does sell,
yes,
what type of price do you think it will realistically bring?
I have no idea.
In today's market?
Oh, we can't do that, because then it's like he's negotiating against himself. Then he's like, well, it's listed at 500, but I would take 150. Then that's gonna be like the new high that someone is gonna negotiate from. Listen, if you're gonna negotiate, and you know your bottom line is 150, you don't say that, because now if you say your bottom line is 150, well then that becomes the maximum that someone is gonna wanna pay for that.
I've never seen stuff selling like it is now, so I don't know. But I've learned something along the way that has kept me focused, and that is maktub, which means it's already written. Everything's already written. You can do nothing about whatever is going to happen, and you just have to go with it and do your best. And that's what I have come up with, that mentality now.
Yeah, but that's not an excuse then to let this house go into foreclosure by saying, oh, you know, it's already written, so I may as well just let it go back to the bank. The thing is, even though, yeah, you know, I do kind of agree with them in the sense that, like, I do believe everything happens for a reason, but again, that's not a reason to just let things happen to you without taking some sort of control over that. So that's what I think.
I have unbelievable, earth-shattering announcements to make. I really do. I really do. And I'm going to tell you just one to give you an idea on the show right now. And then we'll go on to future shows where I will talk about it after we know what happened with this.
And he's not answering the question though. What happens if it goes back to the bank? What happens? Is he just going to let that happen, or is he going to take some other offer?
This specific idea that you're going to talk about now is going to happen regardless of whether the one sells or doesn't sell?
I hope. My entire being is the one. And I don't mean the one house. I mean the one brand, the one franchise. Everything I'm working on is the one. And no matter what happens, I have incredible, earth-shattering, life-changing news to give people.
So tell us this one thing.
Yeah, what's the earth-shattering news? Is it that you would accept $250 million? I mean, that's just what it seems. It seems like his dreams and his passions are completely separate from the aspect of selling this house. The topic, selling the house. Once you sell the house, then that frees up all of your resources to go and do every other thing.
We have, with some partners, we are starting our own bank. Our own bank that we can take in depositors, but it's a very special bank.
Oh gosh, oh wait, let me get this straight, okay? So he's borrowing money from banks, okay? So he's going from bank to bank to bank to bank, borrowing money. And now he wants to create a bank? I'm not sure if this is the guy who I want to bank with. The bank is essentially going to other banks, asking for money. That doesn't exactly bode confidence with me.
It is called the One International Bank, and when you deposit into our bank, you get the first ever. I'm gonna polish it up, it's really cool.
Oh, let me guess, it's an NFT. It's that would be the icing on the cake. When you deposit with the bank, you get this The One NFT, limited to, I don't know, 1 million, I don't know.
Every depositor will get this, a 24 karat gold Visa with a real diamond.
Oh, that's amazing, may I? That is absolutely incredible.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of the Carat credit card. It looks very similar. 24 karat gold. How much do you have to deposit with The One to get a 24 karat gold plated credit card? I would be worried that, like, the amount of money you need to deposit would just pay for the card. Like, it's not a good financial move to do that. Unless you deposit a lot of money as like a legit bank. I wouldn't do that.
Tilted forwards. There you go.
Oh my god, it says one of one, The One. How is it one of one if everyone who deposits money gets one? That's what confuses me.
So let me just ask you some question about this.
Yep.
The bank is going to be like a regular bank where you deposit money, or is this crypto, or what is it?
It's an investment bank, so it's for CD deposits mainly. It's more of a depository bank rather than an active bank where.
So basically it's a bank that he sets up where you could deposit money into it. You're essentially, he's creating a bank where you could loan him money. I mean, that's what it sounds like. And instead of him going to banks asking for money, now he's just like, I am the bank, you give me money. Genius.
Nobody has to worry about losing their money. It's a very secure investment.
It's a bank that we're negotiating, purchasing right now that has a Fed wire number, which is super rare. We have the bank. It's a US-based bank. And, but again, this idea is linked to the money coming in.
So this actually sounds kind of interesting. So he says that he's purchased an existing bank, or he's in talks to do that. Then in essence, he could just take them over and rebrand. It's what a lot of stock brokerages do. They'll buy out a smaller stock brokerage that already has everything up and running, they'll rebrand it and then remarket it. So from that strategy, it's not exactly the worst thing that I've heard.
Is there anything else at all you want to say?
I just want to say to everybody out there, I can't answer all the DMs, I can't answer everybody, but just I want everyone to know that I am trying. And I am very sure that this new partner, the money will come in next week, and if it does,
he's not gonna get the money. Listen, I'll bet $1,000 right now. Whoever wants to take me up on this bet, I would love to. I'll bet $1,000 he's not gonna get the money in a week. He's basically just kidding himself here that this is actually gonna go through. I don't think it's gonna go through.
I hope you enjoyed our talk with Niall. Make sure you follow him. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Oh, Michael is loving this right now. I mean, basically, he gets Niall on his channel, and everyone's just watching it because Niall says something that people just can't believe. Like, none of this addressed the issue with the foreclosure. It just addressed the issue that this is a beacon of hope, that Niall maybe is able to change the world, and it's not about money anymore. I don't know what's going on with this house. If someone comes in there with a lot of money with a good lowball offer that prevents this from going to the bank, I don't know, if I were Niall, I'd be very tempted to take it. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to destroy the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Also, feel free to add me on Instagram. I post it pretty much daily, so if you want to be a part of it there, feel free to add me there. As on the podcast, The Iced Coffee Hour, new episodes being posted every single Sunday. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.